Have you noticed that summers are getting hotter and winters are colder with more snow? A key reason for these changes is climate change. So what is climate change? It refers to global warming, which is an increase in the average temperature near the Earth's surface. But it also identifies broader changes in extreme weather events that cause severe winters. Climate change is caused by greenhouse gases, like those created by driving cars, heating buildings, and creating electricity. These people are concerned and want to do something to prevent the effects of climate change. The effects on the weather, the oceans, ice and snow, and ecosystems may be easy to see, such as icebergs splintering and falling into the sea. But as the Earth warms and ice melts, it will change patterns of rain, snow, heat, and cold, and that will affect our health and activities. The eldest among us are susceptible to these changes and are affected by them in many ways. Thankfully, seniors are not helpless. In fact, with education and their life experiences, seniors become their own best advocates and educators in these changing times.
Well, mostly on TV, they be talking about the climate changes, and that especially in Alaska, the places that it's getting like the iceberg stuff getting smaller and smaller, shrinking.
You know, what I know about it is that, it's changing the seasons. You only know the seasons by the budding of the trees and the changing of the leaves and the birds and things. And the weather has really changed. We're getting more wetness, more snow in different times of the year.
I'd like to know why people don't believe it.
Well, if man should stop interfering with the atmosphere, this way the weather wouldn't change as much as it has changed.
It's the snow, and if you know, last year we had a really, really bad snowstorm. And that's bad for me because it keeps me in. And it drives me crazy because I'm an outdoor type of person.
Oh, it affected me somewhat because, like I said, to be getting around, transportation, and this one it was kind of difficult for me to get around.
I'm fortunate to live near bus stops, so that instead of driving, we sort of left the car in front of the house and just went to the nearest bus stop and made our way from there.
When the ice and the snow was on the ground, I was in the house, I'll tell you the truth, I was in the house for a whole month. That's how long the snow lasted. It was really bad.
Well, in the winter season, if it's snow on the ground, if the pavements aren't shoveled, I can't get access to ride the bus.
You know what? I'm a person that exercises a lot, and I live in my own home. And I don't have anyone to shovel the snow, so at my age, I am still shoveling the snow.
In the Northeast, the 2009 and 2010 winter seasons saw record-setting accumulations. You'd have to go back almost 50 years to find as many high-yield winter storms in a single season as we saw in each of the past 2 years. These extreme weather events are a major concern for seniors in maintaining their health and well-being.
It was rather difficult at times because the heat was excessive.
I'm diabetic, and I have heart problems. So I have to be careful with the heat and the humidity.
I wear a hat when the weather is very hot, and I take a bottle of water with me so I won't get dehydrated. And the shopping center is right in walking distance, and I take my cart when I go, but I don't overload it. Sometimes I might have to go 2 times a week because I don't want to have to pull it up the steps when I get back home.
I stayed under the air conditioner most of the time. And when it cooled down, then I went out. And a lot of the doctor's appointments I canceled because of the heat wave,
Well, later in the day, if I'm not home, like I said, I would find a place that I could go, or if I go to a restaurant, or if I usually like to come to the center here, which I have a lot of things to keep me occupied. Like if I want to go sit in the park, I'll usually wait till sundown, like when it's a little cooler, and I can go sit over there with my friends.
While climate change is happening everywhere, let's use Pennsylvania and Philadelphia as an example. Our summers are getting longer and hotter. According to the Union of Concerned Scientists, Philadelphia and Harrisburg currently experience, on average, more than 20 days a year over 90 degrees Fahrenheit. That number has increased dramatically since the 1960s. And the warming trend is expected to continue. Ultimately, 100 years from now, much of southern Pennsylvania can expect temperatures of at least 90 degrees Fahrenheit for at least 70 days per year. So what can we do to prepare for the extreme temperatures and conditions climate change brings? And most importantly, what health concerns need to be addressed for our seniors now?
Well, I think one of our largest problems that we're having right now is we're seeing a lot of asthma in the older adult. And asthma has been pretty much a childhood condition, but we're seeing asthma and we're also seeing a lot of seasonal allergies. And people, for the first time in their life, they say, well, I never knew I had asthma, and now I'm presenting with this. In addition to other respiratory diseases, as well as heart disease. And many times people don't connect heart disease with what's happening in the environment. But when you look at all of these conditions and then extreme temperature changes, such as heat, being more at risk for heat stroke and extremes in temperature, people have to begin to take into consideration their chronic conditions and how it relates to, this environment change.
How will climate change affect the environment?
We know that climate change and global warming is going to result in increased hot days in the summer, days over 90 degrees, which can, of course, lead to deaths related to that. We also know that there'll be deteriorated air quality and also water quality from increased floods and storms. So those are not good things that we're expecting to see. So we really do want to try to combat as many of them as possible, knowing that can be coming our way.
What can seniors do to lessen the impact of climate change on their health?
I think there are several things older adults can do to prevent the impact of climate change on their health. They can avoid being outside at the hottest times of the day, and they could dress appropriately and wear clothing that covers their skin and wear sunscreen. It's also important in conditions of extreme heat to stay well hydrated, to make sure that you're drinking water or other beverages at regular intervals. They can do their best to recognize any things that might trigger breathing problems or their underlying health conditions. And it's important to check on your friends and family in conditions of severe weather.
Well, there's some opportunities on the days when we have Fanfare itself.
We have this one event called Fanfare where we give out all these box fans that are donated from Comcast and other organizations.
300 to 400 fans are given away here from people who are in need, and intensity of the problem and the lines we have, seem to get longer each year, and we usually have more people who show up for fans than we can give away, even though we're giving away 300 to 400 fans.
I guess my favorite part of the job is getting the seniors involved in community service projects outside in the community. So a lot of them help out here because they're members of the center, but then they also go outside in the community and help out other community organizations too.
Beyond that, I think the creation of sort of an outreach effort via telephone in particular, for seniors to be involved in kind of that selective, targeted outreach, where an organization like a senior center would possibly be aware of individuals who might be at greater risk.
Get involved. Consult your favorite senior organization about events, services, and volunteer opportunities. One of the most important things you can do is to recognize the risk you face each day due to climate change. It is important to understand how chronic conditions such as heart disease, high blood pressure, and respiratory illness can be affected by the weather. Follow the power of 3. Keep an even body temperature. In the winter, use layers of clothing to keep you comfortable. In the summer, find places with air conditioning or fans to help you cool off. Follow a heart-healthy diet that includes staying well hydrated and eating fresh fruits and vegetables. Keep active by exercising daily, keeping up with friends and family, and doing activities you enjoy. Seniors become experts in preventing issues due to climate change by not only educating themselves, but others as well. It is a strong call to action to protect ourselves and to protect one another.
I live in Southwest Philadelphia.
Well, I was born in Cuba.
I live in South Philadelphia.
I was born in Canada.
Initially, I'm from North Philadelphia and stuff. I like to call it Greater North Philly.
I sing in the choir at the center here.
When I get off at 13th and Market, I walk to the center. And in the afternoon, I walk back. I mean, I do ride the public transportation now and then when I'm in a hurry.
You're welcome. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.